Now let's move on to new business, holiday schedule, 52-week employee.
This is the 15 days off for 12-month employees. So now that we're in our third draft of the calendar and we feel we're pretty set with our calendar, we wanted to get a first reading for the board to see this with the 15 days off. The Veterans Day, we obviously are in session. That is made up on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. The other day is Kashmir Pulaski Day, which is an institute day for staff, and that is made up on that non-attendance day in the spring, which some people also refer to as Good Friday.
So do you want us to approve this tonight, or is this for first reading?
This is first reading. If there's any questions, we could approve it with the calendar.
Next meeting, right?
Next
We'll
meeting in
approve for next
February.
meeting. Okay.
We just, I mean, the days are already provided in the agreement, we're just confirming
Yeah, it's just
what the
confirming. I
agreement-
think
We could
there's.
vote for it if you wanted to. I don't see
Yeah, I
an
would
issue.
just
Unless the days change.
Let's do it, we'll do a calendar
keep
and
it
calendar.
all together.
Okay.
That's all I would say, in case something does pop up or someone notices
Got a
something.
new holiday coming up or something. Okay, the next one is a student trip for the University of Chicago Model UN Conference held at the Palmer House. You want to
They're going downtown now to the,
They're going down, yeah, they went downtown last year too. so.
they're not going to the University of Chicago. They're going downtown.
I know my daughter for 2 years went to Palmer
It's
House.
at the Palmer House.
I think it's actually, the event is actually at the Palmer House,
Sponsored by the
but it's
university.
sponsored by the university. And this is something that, as always, I mean, I used to sponsor this at a couple of my previous locations.
The memo asks that the trip is to the university. That's,
Okay.
just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Kevin, can I go back to the calendar?
Sure.
52-week employees.
Yeah.
You have in
52-week
there
employee?
floating holidays, employee discretion. Our policy says that the board determines that, doesn't it? So what, is it the contract? Do we have a policy that conflicts with the contract?
We're allowing them to have it at their discretion.
Right.
It's our discretion to allow them to have it at their discretion is, I think, how we're approving it.
Okay, well, that's not how I see employee discretion. Okay.
Okay.
So we can choose, if we want to vote on that, to say board can say we would choose a date and lock everyone
We
into
could.
one date.
But if, would you
Thought
really want to
about,
do
I
that?
thought about eliminating the floating and just putting it after, in between the winter holiday, the Christmas holidays, just so that the building was closed the 24th, 25th, and 26th. But there may be some people that don't celebrate that holiday, would be okay working, so I thought that we'd leave it at discretion.
Okay. How disruptive is that for you as we're preparing people?
To be determined.
Okay.
So if I think this is an issue, that's why I need some more time on, that's why there's no rush to approve it right now.
Okay.
I have an odd question on this model union. Why is John Passarella the sponsor?
Because it's an activity, and
Okay.
he's in charge of student affairs and activities.
Oh.
So field trips that are academically focused, it's the assistant principal in charge of curriculum instruction, but anything that's related to an activity would be
Thank
the
you.
other assistant principal.
Didn't they just go to Carthage College? Carthage College, Model UN?
It's always been, the Model UN's downtown, the Palmer House.
Yeah.
I think they have two
Every year.
events, don't
They have 2 events a year?
I'm not aware of the other one, that maybe it's for,
Oh,
I'm not aware of
They
it.
did a
Maybe other
Model UN
schools.
this year because Ross was with Julie.
yeah, right.
And it was a one-day thing. They went in and went out.
Yeah.
So it came out. This is one that's overnight.
This is overnight, that's why.
Yeah.
This is the big one. This is the big one.
But it's not a similar program, it's a
No.
different one.
Right, they-
Okay, all right.
All right, do I have a motion for this, please?
Yeah, resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, hereby approves the overnight trip to the University of Chicago Model UN Conference, parentheses, MUNIC, at the Palmer House Hilton Hotel on February 2nd through the 5th, 2012, as presented in the January 10th, 2012 Board Agenda Packet.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike Welch. Any discussion? Mary Ann?
Looks cool.
Dr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Goodchick?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska? Yes. Mr. Singh?
Yes. All right, the next item on our new business is Historic Properties Resolution.
Todd updated this, Todd Faulkner updated the resolution and the information for the board. More or less, this is our resolution that we need to pass annually in January so that anybody in Riverside or in our district boundaries that is considered a historical property would still have to pay the property tax portion on their property taxes that can go back to the local schools.
And in prior board meetings, we've done this every year. So, any questions? All right, can I have a motion, please?
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois hereby approves the Historic Properties Resolution as presented in the January 10, 2012 Board Agenda Packet.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by John King. Any discussion? Mary Ann, please.
Mr. Moon?
Aye.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Goodchick?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Dr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Okay, we are going to be going to closed session, so I just want to let everybody know we're going to close session.
Matt,
Oh,
I don't think you voted on the last.
oh, I'm sorry. Can you vote? Did we vote on it? Did we? No. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay,
My Sonny's the best. I text him, bring me coffee.
okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption. Next time you bring coffee for everybody.
Visitors.
We are going to go into closed session. We have 4 items we're going to be discussing: personnel issues, collective negotiating matters, litigation, and student residency.
Yeah, just before we move into closed session, I think there were some questions related to the bus company. Tim is working on those with Art. We were for a period of time in the fall, we were dealing with a bus driver, and we had one issue of a no-show. Then we've been outsourced to a third party. They're supposed to be reimbursing us. We haven't received any reimbursement at this time. So we had already submitted a letter from Todd. Tim's going to work with Todd to send a second letter. And then we had an issue again this weekend with a no-show, so we're working with their management team, and then we're seeing if we need to work with Todd to get out of that bid. So for what
Could we also get could we get some kind of direction from the athletic director on what the sponsors or the people should do if the bus doesn't show up?
Yeah.
If there's a way they can handle that, resolve that crisis?
Yeah, we had some things in place. I don't know if all of that was shared, but there were some things in place, and that's an issue with the management of the transportation company because the 4 emergency numbers provided all went to voicemail. And the JV sponsor has not been trained yet to do the minibuses. So we're working on that.
Will you have, can you update us at the COW meeting?
Yeah, this is just one, this is one of those examples where we rebid the service, and the bus barn that they're going out of is having trouble securing drivers on a regular basis.
But going to Gary's point, and we've talked about this some, I mean, the bus could get in an accident away here. There's a million reasons the bus might not be there, and it seems like every coach and sponsor should have a cheat sheet. If the bus doesn't show, here's what I do, instead of wondering,
Can you confirm that, just make sure?
Right,
But I
well,
think
the head coach did have access to the dispatcher's emergency number, and that dispatcher had, what Terry Kavanaugh told me, has always picked up immediately and didn't answer. So it was a Sunday morning, and don't know what happened with that, if they followed up and found out why.
Right,
But
that's what
that
we're working.
number, and they did go over to the house to confirm that was the correct number, and they went over to Terry Kavanaugh's house, and it was the correct number they had, when they weren't getting an answer, and they heard that was the number, the safe number, then they thought maybe they had the wrong one, but they actually did, is my understanding, have the correct phone number. The dispatcher just didn't answer. So, but we'll definitely follow up, make sure that everybody knows the procedures. And then the entire squad couldn't have fit in our minibus, but at least there would have been fewer parents that had to contribute and drive in that situation, because there's a limit to how many that you can take in the bus.
So, Tim, I think earlier you had asked about expenditures possibly. If we need to break that agreement with them and go back to our previous provider, we might be have some additional expenses then for transportation. That would be over budget.
That expense would been, Mike, what was it, 40 or 50,000?
Yeah, the expense for the month of September and October, about half of October was $6,000.
No, what I'm saying though
The
is,
additional expense.
The money we saved.
money we saved with the bid, I think was,
40 or 60.
yeah, $40,000 or $60,000, so.
That cannot count against the fund balance at the end of this kid.
Okay. All right, given that, so if we can have at the cow meeting, just an update and status, what's happening with that? All right, now we're going to allow,
John has it.
okay, John,
I
you,
mean, when was this bid out?
last,
year.
A year ago?
yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
about a year.
Okay, so we'll talk about it more in 2 weeks.
Well, I think right now is we bid it out to have a contract this year. If we're having issues with the contract, we're getting our legal involved with it. We got to make sure we have a procedure in place if we have, for backup. But I also think that what Tim's looking at right now is, first of all, is where's our refunds that you owe us because we had to go secure another service? And then talk to Todd and say, if we have to break this, what does that mean for us? So,
Right, okay.
you know what I mean? We put it out to bid, and that was the lowest bid that came back. The problem is, right now, this guy's got staffing problems, but his problem is becoming our problem, which it should not happen, so.
Right.
So I think, let them look at it, but we're getting the lawyers involved and see what happens from there.
Okay.
All right, see, the big crowd we have out here, this is our second opportunity for visitors' comments. Anybody want to speak out there? Seeing none, I need a motion,
We're
what?
going to list the items that we're going to be talking about in closed session.
Yeah, we did. I said,
Said
Personnel,
personnel,
collective.
I said,
collective negotiation.
I said personnel issues, collective negotiating matters, litigation, and student relations.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. I said, all right, do I have a motion to go into closed session?
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, or dismissal of employees, collective bargaining issues, litigation, and residency.
Do I have a second? Gary?
Second.
What?
Second.
Second by Tim Walsh. Mary Ann?
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Goodchin?
Yes.
Ms. Huska? Yes. Dr. Sloan?
Yes.
Mr. Moon?
Yep.
Mr. Cindy?
Yes, just let everybody know, we have concluded our meeting. We will move our closed session to the district conference office to help with our closed session. So, again, thank you, have a great night, and
I think that's a park back there.